After a breakup, your mind can feel like, well, a total war zone, right? And there's usually one question that's just shouting over all the noise. Should I try again? It's a question that's so tangled up in hope and doubt and just a whole lot of confusion. So in this explainer, we're going to untangle that knot together and find a clear path forward. This phrase, it's just so raw and honest. It gets right to the heart of what so many of us have felt. I mean, who hasn't had a thought like this? Maybe even typed it into a search bar late at night. This is the core challenge we're going to tackle, and I'm going to give you a real, solid framework to think about it. So, here's our game plan, our roadmap. We're going to break it down into 4 phases. First, we have to look inward and build a strong foundation. Then we'll talk about the delicate art of reconnecting. After that, we dive into the big one, the conversation about rebuilding trust. And finally, we're going to totally redefine what a successful outcome even looks like. Just know this is a journey, not a quick fix. Okay, so phase 1. This is so important. Before you even think about picking up that phone or sending a text, the real work has to start with you. The art of reconciliation isn't really about crafting the perfect message to send them. It's about starting from a place of real, honest self-awareness. This right here, this is probably the single most important question you can ask yourself right now. And it's a tough one, because let's be real, in those quiet moments, loneliness is a master of disguise. It can look and feel a whole lot like love. So just pause for a second and let this one sink in. Your honest answer is going to be the compass for everything that comes next. This breakdown is perfect. It shows you the 2 very different paths you could be on. Over on the left, we've got the healthy stuff. These motivations are about growth, about genuinely believing you can build something new and better together. But then you look at the right. Those are the unhealthy reasons. Fear, ego, just wanting to win, or maybe you're just remembering the good times and ignoring all the problems. So you have to be brutally honest with yourself. Are your reasons coming from the left column or the right one?
All right, so once you're clear on your why, we can move to phase 2. This is where we can actually start thinking about making contact again. But listen, this isn't the time for some grand romantic gesture. It's about being careful, strategic, and most of all, respectful. Think of this 3-step process as your playbook. First, that no contact period. It's not a power play or some kind of game. It's just a necessary reset button for both of you to let the dust settle. Then, when and if you do reach out, that first message is absolutely key. It has to be light, low pressure. Think something simple like, "Hey, I drove past that coffee shop we used to love. Made me smile. Hope you're doing well." See, it's just opening a door, not trying to knock it down. And their response, or even a lack of one, that's all the information you need to decide if you should even try to walk through that door. And if you do walk through that door, it brings us to what is basically the climax of this whole journey, the conversation. This is the moment where you shift from just being in contact again to doing the real work of reconciliation. This talk is where you lay the new foundation for whatever comes next. Now, for this talk to have any chance of working, these 4 principles are totally non-negotiable. First, you have to own your part in what went wrong. No finger pointing. Second, and this is huge, you have to listen just to understand them, not to cook up your reply while they're still talking. Really hear them out. Third, you've got to figure out the new rules of engagement. What is actually going to be different this time? And finally, you have to be ready to walk away. Because real reconciliation can't be a one-sided thing. It takes 2 people who are all in. This brings us to our final and maybe most important section. It's all about reframing what you're trying to achieve here. We get so stuck on the idea that the only successful outcome is getting back together, but that's just way too narrow of a view. This is it. This is the big takeaway. Whether you end up reconciling or not, if you go through this process with honesty and integrity, you are going to end up in a better place. The real victory here is no longer being haunted by those what-ifs. It's about getting that clarity for yourself so you can finally move forward with peace. And this chart illustrates that point perfectly. Look, there are 2 potential healthy outcomes here, and they are equally valid. One path is reconciliation, sure, building a new, stronger relationship. But the other path is closure, genuinely understanding why it ended, wishing each other well, and moving on with no bitterness. Both of those are a win, seriously. So when you boil it all down, this was never really about trying to rewind the clock. You can't go back. And honestly, you shouldn't even want to. The real opportunity here, whether it's with this person or just for yourself, is to build something new from the ground up, something healthier, something more authentic.
So the only question left is, are you ready to start building?